She walked into the glass-walled conference room at Apex Digital. The air turned to ice the moment she stepped in. No designer bag, no heels, no flashy watch, just a quiet woman in worn flats, a ponytail, and a plain folder held close to her chest. The HR director arched an eyebrow and muttered just loud enough to sting. She looks like she borrowed that outfit from a lost and found box. A slick-haired guy in a pinstriped suit, another candidate, chimed in without hesitation. "We're interviewing candidates, not collecting charity cases." Laughter rippled through the room. The panel barely glanced at her resume, eyes roaming up and down like she was a mistake someone forgot to cancel. But Maya Chen stood still, face steady, folder in hand. They didn't know the truth. They didn't know the man who built this company from the ground up was her husband. Apex Digital, Silicon Valley's fortress, loomed like a titan minus 50 floors of steel and glass, a tech empire that bent the world to its will. The 40th floor interview room was a power hub, long mahogany table, wall-to-wall windows framing the valley, screens humming with data. Maya stepped in at 9:30, her dark hair loose in that ponytail, her amber eyes bright but gentle. She was beautiful, grace carved into every line, but her thrift store outfit and scuffed flats marked her a stranger here. Beneath that quiet shell was a mind that could crack code like glass and a heart that didn't bend. She'd clawed through rounds of interviews for a leadership position, her nights spent refining systems that had made Apex Digital unstoppable. But they didn't see that. They saw a nobody in cheap threads. The panel sat like judges, 5 of them, suits sharp, faces colder than the glass. Victoria Reed, HR director, perched at the head, her red blazer a warning, her blonde bob tight. Maxwell Grant, senior executive, lounged beside her, Rolex flashing, pen twirling between his fingers. James Harrison, 28, dynasty brat, smirked in a suit that screamed money, his tie a silk noose. Sophia Lin, data strategist, peered through sleek glasses, her lips a thin line. Daniel Evans, operations lead, slouched with arms crossed, his buzz cut glinting under the lights. Hundreds had applied. Now it was Maya versus James, but their eyes said the fight was over before it started. Maya handed Victoria her resume. Plain white paper, no frills, just her name and a trail of quiet wins. Victoria took it, smirked, and slid it to Maxwell without a glance. He flicked it back, scoffing. "There's no need." The pages skidded across the table, stopping crooked in front of Maya. "No relevant experience, average education, wrong major. So tell us why, exactly, do you think you're a fit for this company?" His tone was acid, like she'd spat on their floor. Maya straightened, voice calm. "I spent 8 years building scalable systems. My last startup tripled its revenue with my framework. I'm here because I can solve problems Apex hasn't named yet." James cut in, laughing. "Scalable systems. What, like a lemonade stand app? This isn't a pity hire." Victoria smirked. "She's delusional. Probably thinks a spreadsheet's high-tech." Sophia leaned forward. "What's your degree? Sociology. This is Apex Digital, not a book club." Maya nodded. "It's computer science with a focus on AI ethics. I've published." Daniel barked over her. "Published? We don't need homework. We need results. You're drowning here." She tried again. "My last project cut processing times by." James drowned her out. "Save the bedtime stories, kid. No one's buying." Victoria didn't stop. She grabbed a marker from the table and scrawled "Loser" across Maya's resume, the black ink bleeding through as she sneered. "That's your title now." James hooted. "Sign it, frame it," while Maxwell clapped. "She's a masterpiece of failure." The panel roared, phones out, filming the defaced pages, and Maya stood there, ink smearing under her fingers as she held it, her flats rooted. But she didn't snap, just let the word hang, a calm, a shield against the venom. The venom spread fast. Victoria tapped her pen. You're wasting our air. Did you borrow that skirt from a thrift bin? Maxwell chuckled. She looks like she's dressed for the flea market. Where's the haggling booth? James leaned back. Never seen a boardroom, have you? Maybe on a sitcom. Their laughter bounced off the walls. Sharp, cruel, a pact closing in. Maya kept her cool. I'm here to talk qualifications, not clothes. Victoria rolled her eyes. Qualifications? Honey, you don't have any we touch. Sophia smirked. Try retail. Suits that vibe. Daniel grinned. Yeah, stick to the bottom rung. This is big leagues, not a charity drive. Sophia upped the ante. She snatched a stapler and fired it at Maya's papers, the metal teeth punching holes as she hissed. Let's shred the fairy tale. Daniel laughed. Swiss cheese resume. Victoria smirked. Matches her holes for brains. The pages tore, staples scattering across the table, and Maya bent to gather them, her hands steady despite the sting. But Sophia kicked them off the edge. Trash stays down. Maya's silence was a wall they couldn't breach. They piled on. Maxwell stood. Let's spice it up. A surprise test. Logic and coding, right now. No laptop. Pen and paper only. Prove you're not a fraud. He shoved a thick packet her way -10 pages. Problems twisted like knots, the kind that would break most coders. Maya took it, hands steady. All right. She bent over it, pen flying, equations, loops, proofs pouring out like she'd lived them. 5 minutes ticked by. James yawned loudly. Victoria scrolled her phone. Sophia muttered, She's scribbling nonsense. Maya slid it back. Done. Maxwell snatched it, skimmed a corner, then ripped it in half. Slow. Deliberate. The tear screamed in the silence. He tossed it in the trash. Bare minimum. You're not even close. Total waste. James took it further. He grabbed a water pitcher from the table and dumped it over Maya's head, the icy flood soaking her blouse and skirt as he jeered. Cool off, dreamer. Maxwell cackled. She's a wet mess now. Sophia snapped a picture. Viral gold. Water dripped down Maya's face, pooling at her flats, and she blinked through the chill, her ponytail plastered. But she didn't flinch, just stood there, the strength of fire they couldn't douse. Victoria grabbed her phone. Security now, intruder alert. James laughed. Escort her out. She's a stain on the room. Daniel smirked. Don't trip, sweetheart. 2 guards stormed in. Big, black polos. Badges glinting. One gripped her arm. The other yanked her folder. Daniel escalated it. He snatched Maya's folder from her hands and tore it to pieces, the scraps fluttering like confetti as he barked. No room for fakes here. Victoria cheered. Rip her dreams apart. James tossed a pen at her. Write your sob story somewhere else. The shredded bits hit the floor, her work in tatters, and Maya knelt to pick them up, her fingers steady. But Daniel stomped them into the carpet. Stay down, nobody. The calm was a rock they couldn't crack. Move, the first guard growled, dragging her to the door. Maya didn't fight, just walked, flat silent, face composed as James shouted, Mailroom's hiring. The door slammed, their laughter seeping through, and the elevator swallowed her. Humiliated, but her spine stayed still. Maxwell sealed humiliation. He yanked a trash can from under the table and dumped it over Maya as the guards pulled her. Coffee grounds and crumpled paper raining down as he sneered, Here's where you belong. Sophia laughed. Garbage girls complete. Victoria clapped. Perfect exit for a fraud. The mess clung to her wet blouse, ground sticking to her hair, and Maya shook it off, her flat slipping. But she didn't break, just walked, her amber eyes hard, their cruelty a storm she faced unflinching. It didn't stop there. Victoria had leaned over as Maya passed, hissing, "You're a joke. Go back to flipping burgers." Maxwell flicked a paperclip at her. "Here's your bonus. Spend it wisely." It bounced off her shoulder, clattering to the floor. James stood. "Wait, let's give her a send-off." He grabbed a coffee cup from the table, half full cold, and splashed it across her blouse, the brown stain blooming fast. "There's your Apex Digital welcome," he jeered as Sophia clapped. "Perfect. She's branded now." Maya wiped her cheek, coffee dripping, but didn't flinch. Just kept walking, the guards pulling harder. The lobby hit her like a slap. Marble gleaming, employees bustling, oblivious to the woman in stained grey being marched out. The guards didn't ease up. One shoved her shoulder. "Keep moving." The other tossed her folder into a bin by the exit. "Don't come back," he barked as the glass doors swung open. Maya stepped into the sunlight. Coffee soaking her shirt, resumed trashed, but her amber eyes stayed clear. She'd faced worse than this. Years of grinding, proving herself in rooms that didn't want her. This wasn't about pride. It was about every soul they'd crushed before her. She pulled out her phone, dialed. "Ryan, it's me. It went bad." His voice tightened. "How bad?" She told him calm, no tears. "The coffee. The test. The guards." "I'm coming," he said. "Now." Morning broke with a storm of its own. Apex Digital's executive floor buzzed. An emergency meeting. No warning, no mercy. Senior heads poured into the boardroom, -30 of them. Suits starched, faces taut, shareholders lurking, a live feed beaming to investors worldwide. The room was a war zone waiting to ignite. Mahogany tables stretching endless, screens glowing, the valley sprawling below. Victoria sat up front, blazer pristine. Maxwell twirled his pen. James lounged, tie sloppy. Sophia adjusted her glasses. Daniel checked his watch. They figured it was a power play. Promotions, raises, their moment to shine. Then the doors crashed open, and the world tilted. Ryan Chen strode in, tall, 42, dark hair graying at the edges, black suit sharp as a razor, blue eyes cold as ice. The phantom CEO of Apex Digital, a billionaire who'd risen from nothing. Trailer park kid coding on a library junker, turning scraps into an empire that owned the tech skyline. Feed in boardrooms from Shanghai to London, he'd been a ghost for months, running things from shadows. Everyone stood, chairs scraping, breaths caught. Beside him walked Maya, same stained blouse, same skirt, flats tapping soft, ponytail swaying, her amber eyes unflinching. Faces drained. Victoria's pen snapped. Maxwell's clattered. James shrank. Sophia's glasses fogged. Daniel choked. Ryan stopped, voice deadly calm. "Sit." They dropped like stones. He scanned them. "I gave this team one job. Evaluate candidates for leadership so I could spot who's ready to rise. But yesterday you didn't interview a candidate." He paused, the silence a blade, then turned to Maya. "You insulted my wife." Gasps punched the air. Victoria's hand shook. Maxwell's jaw hit the table. James's chair squeaked as he curled in. Ryan stepped closer. "Maya and I built Apex Digital from dirt. 2 broke kids. No sleep, no cash. I wired the hardware. She forged the AI. Every system you cash in on. Her mind's the root. You didn't just miss a resume. You humiliated the woman I love most." He pointed. Victoria, Maxwell, James, Sophia, Daniel. "Repeat what you said yesterday, now, to the board." The room choked. Victoria stammered. I didn't." Ryan cut her off. "No dodging. Speak." A tech flicked the screen. Security footage, raw and loud. Victoria's hiss. "She looks like a student applying for a part-time job." James's cackle. Janitorial services. Where's the mop? Maxwell's sneer. No experience. Wrong major. Sophia's jab. Try retail. Daniel's quip. Out of her depth. Maxwell again. Dressed for the flea market. James's final. Mailroom's hiring. The boardroom froze. Shareholders shifted. Investors glared through the feed. The words a death knell ringing. Victoria's red blazer was a shroud now. Her marker a noose. She defaced the woman whose code ran their empire, and her hands shook as she faced the board. Her smug hiss replayed for millions. Her career a smoking ruin. Maxwell's Rolex dangled useless, his coffee splash a chain. He'd soaked the brain behind their profits, and the trash he dumped buried him. His name blacklisted to oblivion. James's pinstriped suit hung limp, his watered dump a scar. He drenched the soul of Apex Digital, and his dynasty's doors slammed shut, his laughter a ghost as investors jeered. The screen burned their shame into history. Every sneer, every jab a nail in their coffins. Maya's quiet rise their executioner. Ryan didn't flinch. You tore her test, solved perfectly, faster than you'd dream. You threw coffee. You called security. Say it again. Victoria's lips quivered. I can't. James stared at his shoes. Mute. Maxwell rasped. Mistake. Sophia whispered, we didn't know. Daniel croaked sorry. Ryan leaned in. Sorry's nothing. You showed me who you are. Small. Cruel. Blind. Apex Digital doesn't carry trash. He nodded to security. Same guards, same polos. Take them. They're finished. The room held its breath as the guards moved. Victoria's blazer dragged. Maxwell's Rolex dangled. James's tie flopped. Sophia's glasses slipped. Daniel's buzzcut bowed. The fallout was a wildfire. Victoria, Maxwell, James, Sophia, Daniel, fired on the spot, badges ripped, marched out as the board watched. Shareholders nodding, investors typing furious notes. Sophia's glasses couldn't hide her fall, her staples await. She'd shredded the work of Apex Digital's architect. And now her resume was the trash. Her smug pics a viral curse as the industry spat her out. Daniel's buzzcut bowed low, his folder tearing a brand. He'd ripped apart the woman who'd built their world, and his stomp echoed as he hit rock bottom, begging beside Maxwell while Maya's coin glinted in his palm. The boardroom's silence rolled with their ruin. Every laugh, every cut a boomerang that smashed them. Ryan's calm wrath and Maya's steady gaze the gavel dropping, their own words the rope that hanged them. Apex Digital blacklisted them, names torched across the industry. No firm would touch them, resumes shredded, calls blocked, LinkedIn profiles dead air. Victoria's blazer hit a thrift rack. Maxwell's Rolex pawned for rent. James's dynasty disowned him. Sophia's glasses sold for scraps. Daniel's swagger crumbled to dust. Their titles, their reps, their lives, erased in a heartbeat. All for sneers at a woman they didn't see. 6 months later, rain lashed a downtown station. Commuters rushing, umbrellas snapping. Maxwell Palmer slumped against the wall. Once an Apex Digital exec, now unshaven, coat torn, a cardboard sign shaking in his hands. Please help. His Rolex was gone, his sneer a faint echo, his fingers trembling in the cold. Heels clicked. Maya, hair still in that ponytail, now in a navy coat, her presence a quiet storm. She just keynoted at an AI ethics summit, her voice bending the future while his broke apart. She paused, reached into her pocket, pulled a quarter, shiny, cold, and dropped it into his palm. It glinted. The guy who'd ripped her test now clutching her coin. She met his eyes, a faint smile flickering, then walked on, flats tapping steady, her strength a silent thunder. That coin wasn't pity, it was justice. Cold and sharp. Maya didn't need to scream. She let their own rot bury them. She'd forged Apex Digital's heart, and they'd spat on it, until Ryan turned their world to ash. Now she stood taller while they sank low, a lesson carved in their fall. If you've ever been judged by how you look, share your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more tales of justice served.